Hey there, Drew here, and welcome back to the Drew Saur coaching channel. If this is your first time here, thanks for joining us. This channel is for those of us who want to have stellar careers with a little less stress, and if we can, a bit more fun. My job is to bring you ideas that'll help you look at your career in a new way. I promise that if you try them out, you'll start to see the professional world differently. And more importantly, they'll start to see you differently. So this video is part of my series on success mindset, because ultimately, to thrive in your career, you need to understand how your own brain works. You need to understand how you think. So the question we're trying to answer is, do I have a strong mental framework? And the topic we're going to talk about today is imposter syndrome, which I'll explain in a minute, but it's a pretty common term that's been bandied about in corporate circles for quite a while. And I'm going to make the counterintuitive argument that imposter syndrome can actually be a very good thing. So first off, what is it? Imposter syndrome is basically what it sounds like. It's the feeling you have that you're an imposter. Most likely this occurs when you're in front of a group of senior executives, you've got a new job, you just got hired, and there's this feeling of, I don't quite belong, I'm not ready for this, I'm an imposter. And the first thing to realize is that this is an extremely common feeling that virtually everybody goes through at some point in their life. And one of my favorite stories to illustrate this comes from an author named Neil Gaiman. And he's a best-selling author, dozens of books, some of them have been made into movies. And he was in an event with lots of famous people, entrepreneurs, builders, etc. And he was there, but standing in the back because he really wasn't comfortable. And he ended up talking to somebody else named Neil, who was also standing in the back because he didn't feel comfortable either. And when he asked what this other Neil had done, the other Neil actually looked around and said, look at all these amazing people. They've built things, they've created new ideas. All I did was go where they asked me to go. Punchline, of course, is the other Neil was Neil Armstrong. Where did he go? He went to the moon. Right? So you have Neil Gaiman, a best-selling author, standing next to Neil Armstrong, the first man on the moon, and they're both feeling imposter syndrome. So hopefully that just gives you the idea that everybody goes through this at some point in their life. And what I would say is it's actually a good thing if you understand it. Because what it means is you are stretching yourself. You are going into a new place where you're not as comfortable. And growth is a prerequisite to having a successful career. And think of it like working out, right? If you wake up in the morning and your muscles are sore, and you did nothing, you just woke up and your muscles are sore, you might be a bit worried, like what happened, what's going on? And you'll get uncomfortable, maybe you should call the doctor, are you sick? Why are your muscles sore? On the flip side, if you just worked out the previous day, most people who do that wake up the next morning with sore muscles and you're like, oh, my muscles are sore. That actually means you're building new muscle because you did the right thing yesterday, you kind of stressed them, you broke them a little bit, and now they're growing stronger. So you see that as a signal of growth. And I would say that the same thing should apply to imposter syndrome. So if you feel it and you don't know why, that's when you start to get worried. But if you're doing it on purpose, if you're actually placing yourself into a new situation where you need to stretch yourself, you're supposed to feel uncomfortable. And that uncomfortable feeling is what imposter syndrome is. So if you're feeling imposter syndrome because you've put yourself in a new and more challenging situation, it's like working out. It's exactly what's supposed to happen. And it's a sign that you are growing. And that's a positive thing. So what happens if you don't do this? Right? If you don't think about imposter syndrome in this way, well, it's the default, right? It's when you feel it, you're going to be worried something is wrong. And unfortunately, that worry can combine and spiral into something that can be really difficult for you to get through. So once again, imposter syndrome is a signal of growth. So what's the exercise? The exercise is next time you feel something akin to imposter syndrome, look around. Are you stretching yourself? Are you doing something new and different? And do you think that new and different thing is beneficial for you in the long run? Because chances are the answer is yes. And if so, it's a good sign. And you can actually reframe this inside your brain. You can change the way you think such that imposter syndrome feeling actually brings you positive feelings, brings you joy because you know you're doing the right thing and growing yourself. So that's the idea. Try it out and let me know in the comments how it went. And as always, if you're looking to make a significant change in your career, it helps to have a partner. You can rope in a friend, or you can hire a coach. If you have any interest in working with me, you can go to drewsaur.com and we can schedule some time to chat. I look forward to seeing you next time.